be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance.
In preparation of my presentation for the remembrance of the works of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I came across something that was very horrendous, and I felt the need to address it immediately. When you think of Dr. Martin Luther King, you think about the fact that he became a pastor at the age of 19, graduated from Morehouse College. He earned 2 graduate degrees, a Bachelor of Divinity degree from Crozer Theological Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania, and then studied for his doctorate of philosophy in systematic theology from Boston University in 1955. You can't help but remember the fact that he led one of the most successful boycotts in history in Alabama. Just numerous accolades at this man's feet. He won the Nobel Peace Prize. So it was shocking to learn how the city of Boston decided to honor this man and his wife, Coretta Scott King, the woman who served as his backbone. Even when the FBI was mailing him letters accusing him of extramarital affairs, suggesting that he should delete himself. Coretta Scott King understood the value and the importance of marriage and the importance of sticking by a good man's side, and stood right there and helped him and supported him and encouraged him, because she knew that is what this man, who was in service to not only his God but to his people, to his community, needed. To find out that the city of Boston decided to commemorate their love with a sculpture, okay, great. The sculpture is supposed to resemble a historical hug that they gave one another in the picture that you see here. Let's take a look at what these quote-unquote artists created.
On Boston Common, and a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. The couple met here in Boston. WBZ's Paul Burton is on Boston Common with today's memorable ceremony.
Those hands, it's just a remarkable statement of mutual love and solidarity.
It was a historic and monumental day in Boston as a long-awaited Embrace statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King was unveiled, and the family of Dr. King stood in amazement.
It is a great pleasure to be a part of this unveiling ceremony for the memorial, which truly signifies the bond of love shared by my parents.
We are all challenged to carry forward their unfinished work. This is the spirit we must keep.
True to our God. The ceremony was filled with song, prayer, and powerful speeches. The idea of the memorial came about in 2007.
Now, at first glance, I'm looking at this monstrous-looking piece of crap, wondering what in the true garbage were they thinking. I really am. But let's continue.
It stands 22 feet tall, cast in bronze. This is the first new monument on the Common in more than 30 years. The Embrace memorializes the hug Dr. King and his wife Coretta shared. It stands 22 feet tall, cast in bronze. This is the first new...
This big bronze piece of whatever the crap it is stands 22 feet tall. You used all that brag for something that looks like this.
Boston in the 1950s. He preached in Boston and in 1965 led a civil rights march from Roxbury to the Common, where the Embrace statue stands. King's granddaughter Yolanda spoke from her heart and clearly has the gift of her grandfather and grandmother.
Mom, I just really see that there needs to be a lot of change in this world, and I think it is all our responsibility to really do something. And so I feel called to do this work.
And the nonprofit Embrace Boston raised $8 million to create the sculpture and an additional $2.5 million to preserve it. Organizers say people will come from all over the world to view this sculpture and take it all in. It is a symbol of unity and of love. And as Yolanda put it best, it is Love 360 unfolded here in Boston. In Boston, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Wow, just a wonderful addition.
This thing costs $8.5 million for this. From every angle you look at, this is the oddity that you see. A small child will look at that and be like, what is this? And rightfully so. Adults who are grown are looking at this and like, what the hell is, what are you doing? So you obviously want to know who created this, right? Who created this quote unquote masterpiece? Well, here they are.
Side by side with the architects who helped bring the embrace to life, artist Hank Willis Thomas says the sculpture is the work of many.
And everyone showed up to meet the moment, and everyone did their part. And so it's kind of amazing to actually get to witness the product of thousands of people's work.
Let's be real. This is a gender neutral, fluid piece of garbage. 22 feet tall, brass garbage. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm saying it because I know there's probably some artists out here saying, you can't tell people how to view art. I can't tell people how to view art. You're right. Because art is in the eye of the beholder. So it's like, hey, if you see it as an abstract piece of gorgeousness, that's you. I see it as an abstract piece of perverted crap. That's what I see. I think it needs to be melted down and used for some pennies. I think it needs to be melted down and used for a real sculpture of Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife, Coretta Scott King. That's what I think. You know, I see the okie dokie trying to pull, but you ain't pulled it. We all see what it was doing. You can't tell me they didn't make a 3D design or mock-up of this piece of junk and nobody's fooled by this crap. This is horrendous. This is a monstrous piece hot garbage on a hot 103-degree day. That's what it is. It's stinking up the place. This is ugly. This looks like perversion and it looks ridiculous. And I think it's disrespectful of a man and his wife. I do. You could have taken all that brass and actually made a figure of that where there are actually two people where you can see their faces embracing. But this is what you chose to make. You chose to make this for the purpose that we know that you chose to make it for. This is for implanting seeds that don't need to be planted, period. And it's defacing the legacy and history of a great man or woman. And I hate your art. There you go. I think it's hideous. I hope it melts in the hot sun. I do. You can call it abstract all you want to. It's abstract garbage. I think it's disrespectful. I hope nobody comes to see it. I hope nobody comes to see that ugly piece of garbage. I think this demonstrates how much you all do not respect marriage, traditional marriage. I think you're spitting on traditional marriage with this big piece of hot, trashy garbage, and I hope nobody comes to see it.